Okay, let's begin today's webinar. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Shiksha Study Abroad USA Pre-Departure Session 2022, presented by USIEF, United States India Education Foundation. So I'd like to introduce our panelists for today. Our panelist is Megha Yadav. Megha Yadav is an advisor at USIEF New Delhi. Megha Yadav is an MB from Eastern Michigan University and a certified practitioner of neurolinguistic programming, rejoices in helping students find a unique balance of challenge and motivation to flourish throughout their college career in US. Megha joined the United States Indian Education Foundation, New Delhi as an advisor in 2018, carrying with her 7 years experience as a distinguished communication and soft skills expert. We have with us Rupali Verma, advisor for Education USA at USIEF New Delhi. In her accomplished career thus far, she has effectively ideated and helped several initiatives, starting from Parent Meet Parent, Chalo America roadshows, and the alumni fairs, to name a few, and boosted Education USA's reach manifold. We also have with us Aadhar Vark, who's a senior advisor at Education USA as USIEF New Delhi. She owns a bachelor's degree in psychology, master's degree in counseling psychology, and another master's degree in psychology of education from University of Bristol, UK. She worked as a counseling psychologist and specializes in career guidance and life skills training. After joining Education USA in 2014, she has attended various State Department trainings and also presented Education USA at international conferences. Before we jump into the pre-departure sessions, I would like my colleague Sandeep to brief us about Shiksha.
Good afternoon, everyone. So talking about Shiksha, so Shiksha Study Abroad, we are India's #1 study abroad website when it comes to the information regarding the universities and students' presence. So we represent approximately 56 countries on a website where we gather information about various universities. So we have around approximately 2,000 plus universities listed on our website, with 70,000 plus courses listed. And students do come to our website for various reasons, like selecting the university and which course or which university would be best suited based on their profiles. They also gather information about scholarships or funding availability from various universities and colleges. So talking about the scholarships, we have more than 2,000 scholarships listed on our websites, and we have approximately 460,000+ students who have already registered with us, and 1,000 plus enrollments last year we have seen. And when it comes to our services, it's very transparent, starting from it says student centric. So we help students starting from their shortlisting, profile evaluation, then helping them apply to various universities, make them understand the various documents required, like statement of purpose, letter of recommendations. We help in those documentation as well. And once a student decides to apply to any university, we also help in the applications, and post getting admission. So we help students in the visa counseling process as well. So it's a transparent process. We do not charge. So it's 100% free, and personalized attention is given to the students. Yeah, Vishakha, over to you.
Thank you, Sandeep. Before I'd like to also add here that Shiksha gives end-to-end service, counseling service to our students. So anybody who's looking forward to this assistant can reach us through our website or avenues of reaching us. So the topics which I'm going to cover today is the essentials for your journey, the do's and don'ts before you apply, because most of us are now ready, with already admissions and the visa done. So everybody's anxious to start their new journey. And you need to be careful of the health and safety, which are there. Every day we have new things coming up, the COVID and something on the other. So we'll also cover up certain things you should be careful about. Definitely the latest guidelines by the International Office, the American culture and lifestyle, and also the housing accommodation. So now I'd like to request Megha, to take it over and take us through. So Megha, over to you.
Sure. I'll just share my screen.
Sure.
Hello, everyone. Very good afternoon to all of you. A very good afternoon to all of you. My name is Megha Yadav, and I'm an Education USA advisor. And today we're going to walk you through about the key things that you must keep in mind before you're headed to the United States. You are all set to leave for the States, and this is the right time for you to think about a few things beforehand and learn about, so that that helps you with a smooth and easy transition into a US academic culture. Without a further ado, let me move on to my next slide. First, I want to congratulate you. Rupali and I both wish you heartiest congratulations on getting your admits. Now you are all set. Most of your hard work has already been paid off, and you're now there to start off a new adventure. So many congratulations to you on that. To give you a brief introduction about what Education USA is and what do we do, who we are the official source of US higher education, and we are supported by US Department of State, which means that we are a US government network, and our mandate is to provide accurate, current, and comprehensive information, and most importantly, unbiased information. Our presence across the globe is in 170 plus countries, and we have more than 430 centers across the world. In India, we're located in 7 cities, and we have about 8 centers, and every center is hosted by a different organization. So the centers in Chennai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Mumbai, and New Delhi function under U.S. India Educational Foundation. That is where I am from. It is a binational entity that manages the Fulbright Fellowships in India. You might have heard it as Fulbright Commission in India. The center in Bangalore is hosted by Yashna Trust. The one in Ahmedabad is managed by Indo-American Educational Society. And we have our newest center, another center in Hyderabad that is managed by Y-Axis Foundation. Moving on, though you have already completed these 5 steps and you are right now in your 5th steps where you are getting organized, preparing for your departure, I'll just give you a quick brief introduction, brief overview about how Education USA helps you in your application process, and how Education USA eases your application journey is through these 5 steps. First being research your options, where we help you shortlist the universities, help you find the right fit. Step 2 is where students, if they need funding, this is where we help them allocate funding opportunities. Step 3 is where students complete their application, where they work on various components of their application package. And step 4 is where students apply for a student visa, where they prepare on their student visa application. And step 5 finally is to prepare for your departure, where you get organized and learn about key things before you're headed to the United States, such as immigration compliance and academic life, and things that we are going to talk about in a little bit. So today we are going to talk about 3 major things. One is pre-departure prep, which is going to help you prepare for your journey. We're going to talk about academic life, which will acclimatize you with the academic culture in the United States. And which will the last is a new socio-cultural environment, which is going to help you assimilate into the American culture out there in the United States. My colleague Rupali is going to talk about the pre-departure preparation, where she's going to talk about how to plan for your journey. Over to you, Rupali.
Thank you so much, Megha, Vishakha, and your team for having us present to your students on the pre-departure preparations. We are very, very happy to share our experiences with the students. And as Megha mentioned, this is a long journey now. You have just stepped into your final preparations, and now you're going to enjoy your journey abroad. But as it is said that you all will be making a major professional, personal and financial decisions basically when you will decide to embark on this educational journey now in the next to the US in the next few weeks only. So in the next 15 to 20 minutes, I will discuss a little something about the checklist for reference that will help you planning your journey. And always remember the key to success is careful planning and preparations. So many of you have already started your preparation. Many of you are just about to leave in the next 1 or 2 weeks, and some of you may be leaving in the week in the first week of September also. But then we want to make sure your transition is smooth and your preparations are done before you step out of your house. I think I will move to the next slide. Okay, so here is something which is very important, what all you should be carrying before you leave. Many of you must have booked your air tickets by now. The ones who haven't, we would advise students to look for student discounts, look at the best deals, check with other students who are leaving for the same destination through active student groups, or if you are in touch with the university, if you have made your WhatsApp groups. It is good to travel with anyone, any student who is going through the same itinerary and is going to the same destination. Sometimes students are not comfortable, so it is up to the students to make, but we would definitely advise that it is advisable if you go with a student who is joining the same college. Make sure that you arrive well on time, because there is going to be a student orientation session, and it is mandatory for the students, all international students, to attend this orientation sessions. Inform the International Student Office about your arrival plans. This is very important. The second point basically which is mentioned is again, what all documents I need to carry, what all should I carry with me. So the documents.
Sorry for interrupting. If you could be a little louder,
Okay.
the voice is a little low. Yeah, sorry for that.
I will surely. Okay, am I fine? Is it? Am I audible now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay.
Yeah, better.
So students, the documents which you need to carry, they are very important, and that they may include your passport, your I-20s, your itinerary, your offer letters. To that particular university. And students, we also advise them to carry their voter ID back from India. If you have taken an international driving license, your Aadhar card, and your academic records, your medical prescription. So there are a lot of documents which are important that you carry. But then it is advisable that you make 3 sets of your documents, scan them and keep one back at home in India, carry one with you in your check-in luggage, and always have your documents scanned and uploaded either on your iCloud or your Google Doc. They are very important. Let's be ready in case we lose our documents anywhere. At least we have a set right on the Google Doc or back at home, and we can always get it. So these are the documents which you need to carry, and there is a checklist of items that you have to carry. Again, the checklist of items may vary from student to student. Make a list of what exactly do you want to carry, what are the most important stuff, and try doing it well in advance. Do not keep it to the last minute. As I mentioned right in the beginning, that planning is very important. That is the key. And just be systematically just keep doing and preparing your checklist and keep getting stuff, because believe me, with my years of experience, I have seen students, and not only the student, the parents, the family getting panic attacks as the day comes for you to fly. Because if you plan accordingly, if you know what all stuff will you really be requiring, check with the university, talk to the students who are currently studying there. That will make your life very, very easy. And keep in mind that you can carry up to a certain limit. There's limitation on carrying your luggage. So your suitcase, I mean, again, it varies from airline to airline, but that is also something important. So keeping that in mind, make a checklist. But other than the important stuff which you will be definitely carrying for your daily use and everything, we would advise you to carry some small handicrafts also, which can be used as gifts when you go there. Probably you may want to give it to your classmate or the new network which you really make in the years to come. You want to give them a small token from your country. So do carry small gifts, but make sure that you don't wrap them and just keep them in your suitcase, but do not wrap them. That can be opened by any of the airport authorities. Also carry along with you one Indian ethnic wear for formal occasions. That will be required, because there can be a lot of by the time you go, there will be major Indian festivals, and most of the universities, their Indian associations, the international associations, they try to celebrate all these festivities. So that will be a chance where you can actually wear your Indian ethnic wear. And make sure, I'm sure you will be going for your medical checkups, but do carry with you your spare glasses, contact lenses. These things are important when you are making your checklist of items to carry along. Money matters. You have to understand, you have to find out about the exchange rates. Can you carry a forex card along with you? Check out the RBI regulations to carry the maximum limit. Carry different denominations because you may require, say, $5 at some of the airports where you have to take a trolley. So these are small things which you need to keep in mind. So if you don't have, if you don't carry a denomination, or what if the card is not working there at that time, it will be difficult for you to really take out your luggage, because it will be quite heavy. So trolleys are important. And so that's the reason we normally tell students that carry a few denominations. That will really help you. I'm sure you are getting all your medical checkups done before you will be leaving for the US. The US the universities, they are very particular. Along with other documents, they must have sent you immunization checklist details. So make sure that you get yourself immunized. Keep a record of all the important documents, because all these documents should be handy with you. The prescriptions should be handy with you. Get a dental work, get all your dental work done, your eye checkup before you leave, because these are important. Probably you may want to get your haircut also done the one day before you leave for the US. So make a checklist, make all the to-do list that has to be done, and keep checking all the work which is done, the work which needs time, and keep following up, because as I mentioned, do not panic when it's a few days left for you to fly. So those things are very, very important. With the COVID-19 pandemic, there are a lot of guidelines by the universities. So we would advise you to check it with your international office as to what are the latest guidelines. Not only the international office, you should also check it with your airlines which you are flying with as to what are their guidelines. So if you need to take a test which is 24 hours before you fly or 48 hours before you fly, RT-PCR or whatever it is, you make sure that you take it accordingly, and that should not create any hindrance in your travel plans. Students, as Bishakha mentioned right in the beginning, accommodation and housing are important, and I'm sure many of you by now you have already sign the contract for accommodation wherever you want to stay. If you are going on campus, you need to know with whom you are sharing your dorm or the room, whatever it is. Try to contact them, get the university, get the contacts from the university. And if you haven't done any of this right now, till now rather, please do it ASAP. I mean, it's quite late to find housing, but yes, there goes a lot of research into it. You have to have time on your end to look at the accommodation, talk to the people there, sign in the contracts. So it takes a lot of time. So keep that time, and if you haven't done it, please do it ASAP. Register for the classes, speak to the international admissions office. You can register for a few classes, and check the COVID norms, all the tests that have to be taken, any specific measure before you arrive on campus. So these are some of the important points which you need to keep in mind before you actually start with your pre-departure arrangements. We'll move to the next slide. Okay, so this is basically planning your journey. Most of the students now have an experience of traveling, but in case you're traveling for the first time, make sure that you travel with someone who's again going to the same destination, because I mean, it will boost your confidence. You Sometimes students are going for the first time, they are stepping out and traveling, and it is a long journey. So it's good if you have if you contact the network and see if the students connect with the University International's office also. If you want, they can also tell you if any student is coming from your region, your city. Even if within India they are traveling, you can connect with them at right in midway where you will be having the transit. So check those things. I'm sure the airlines which you are booking your tickets on, the airlines will give you the guidelines, but do check the baggage size which are allowed in that specific airlines. That is very, very important. They keep changing it every year. So it is important that you keep updated and have the latest baggage size requirements, the weight allowance, the number of luggage pieces that you can carry. Um, Also make sure that you keep luggage tags for your baggages with your name and address in India and the US, with both the things, so that in case the flights are delayed, or you somehow unfortunately you don't receive your baggage on time, it's misplaced, at least they can locate you with your name and address in India and the US. So those things are very, very important. And the most important is, do not lock your baggage. Do not lock the luggage. Use only the TSA approved locks. You can Google search them, you can buy them. just use those ones, because if you lose any other locks and all, that will be for security reasons, they can open your luggage. So do check those the TSE approved locks, and try to make sure that they are only on your luggage. You will, many of you, there are a few flights which are which directly fly to your destination, but still most of the states in the US, they don't have direct flights from India. Most of the students do take in, they have to go for in transit. But wherever you go, you need to make sure that you familiarize yourself with the flight itinerary, read the signages. There are lots of digital uh, computers there. The screens will, digital screens will be there right at the airports. Need to make sure to see which gate is your next flight from, how much distance do you have to cover, because it so happens that if your flight from the first flight from your destination is a little late, you may miss this connecting flight. There can be a chance, but do not panic. Just go to the counter of that the flight counter at the airport, speak to them, and they will definitely help you. There's no need to panic at that time. But try to see, while you are booking your tickets, make sure that you have enough of time in transit, because the airports are they're huge. From one gate to the another also, sometimes it takes a lot of time to travel. So just make sure of these points while you are booking your tickets also. So once you reach your land of destination, that is where you have to go through the port of entry procedures. You have to fill in certain immigration forms. There will be a form given to you right on while you are about to land to the final port of entry. Make sure you keep your documents ready, and don't be nervous. That is where you have to go through the immigration process. There will be huge lines. There will be a lot of flights which will be coming at the same time, and you will be so tired. All these things will happen, and this is what we are giving you from our experience, from the students' experience. Immigration sometimes takes a lot of time, but then just relax and have a happy face in front of the immigration officer. Keep your documents ready. The immigration officer can ask for any documents. They can ask you for your acceptance letter. They can even ask you, why have you come to the US? Why did you choose this university? So just be prepared the way you were prepared. It's not interview, but definitely they would like to see who's coming to our country. So make sure you don't get nervous at that time. And the best part is, even the immigration officers understand that you are coming from a different land, and they also try to make a very comfortable conversation with you. Okay, so the next one is arrival on campus. Before arriving on campus, explore, even starting your journey, it's always advisable to explore your campus. Look at the map of your campus where you are going. Make sure that you attend the student orientation, but before you attend this orientation, you check with the international admissions office, because how are you going to commute from the airport to your campus? Will they send any pickup? Do you have a shuttle service, or are they sending someone to pick you? so make sure that all this conversation is done right before your departure from India. Very, very important, because there can be odd times when your flight reaches your destination. So, and it is not advisable that at an odd time you take a cab or you take any risk to travel to your university. Try to see and make your itinerary in a way that at least you are at least a week before the orientation starts in your campus. So please do check with your international admission officers, and there are a lot of Indian support services also at universities. So check with them. They will be readily happy to help any international students. So do interact with them. Open your bank account. Actually, during the orientation, they will tell you how to open your bank account. They may take you for shopping, where you can buy the required stuff. For example, if you want to buy some stationery or you want to buy a few items for your room, they will arrange for shuttles which will take international students. They will give you a round of the campus. They will give you a round of the city and take you to some shopping malls where you can buy all your required stuff. Explore the support services and resources for international students. In fact, we at Education USA, we just completed our Prepathon series, and all the sessions which we did for Prepathon, they are on our YouTube channel. That is Education USA India YouTube. Here you can actually go and listen to some of the Prepathon sessions. So one such session we did was how to explore the support services and resources for international students, where in detail we discussed about various support services. How can you use them? How to connect with them? How can they help you? So you can listen to the YouTube, and likewise you can listen to many other sessions which we did under the Prepathon series. COVID-19 guidelines are very, very important. I have discussed it right from the beginning. Check with the university, check with the airlines, check everywhere about the COVID guidelines. They keep changing. I mean, very, very unfortunate, but then that is something which we really need to check before we even start preparing for our journey. And the mantra is network, network, and network. The more you network, that will be good for you. It will help you, not right now, but when you graduate from a US university, you will see this is what is my networking. This is how I networked with and made new friends, new contacts. So I now will request Megha to talk on academic life, and then again I will be back with you on to discuss a new socio-cultural environment. So Megha, over to you.
Thank you, Rupali. Thank you so much. So I'm back again, guys. And I'm here to tell you more about how you can acclimatize to the academic life culture in the US US universities. It's going to be a great adventure for you to learn about the US education system, learn about how the classwork happens, how the academic culture is there in the United States. It is definitely a lot different to what we have experienced in India. So you will find a lot of things new, a lot of things stressful. Don't be overwhelmed with it. Just take it slow, embrace it, take it as it comes to you. So, yep, we are going to talk about these these major factors that you see on your screen. We are going to talk about American classrooms, how you can communicate with your professors, selecting courses, what should you keep in mind, and your academic services, what are the opportunities that are available, any assistantship, any scholarship opportunities that are available while you're there on the campus, what are the orientations that you should be attending, how you can manage the academic integrity while you're there, the honor code that we talk about, the honor code in double quotes, and online learning. So now that most of the universities have started with their in-person model, some universities for some coursework, you might also hear them follow the hybrid model where there can be online classes, there can be in-person classes, depending on the university that you're going in for and depending on how the COVID-19 situation is like there. But most of us have started to adjust in the new normal. So yeah, moving on, the classroom culture. So the US system of higher education follows a learner-centered model where it means more lectures, more discussions in large and smaller groups, how the application is done for the theory that you have learned during the classes, how the students need to be participative, what kind of interactions can it be, how you can express your perspectives in your class, how you can participate in a dialogue, what are the things you should demonstrate. You must demonstrate critical thinking, critical reasoning, and analytical skills. So to begin with, firstly, the universities do not have a hierarchical theme in terms of studying in the United States. So if you will see a stark difference, say, for example, professors are approachable and may be wished to called as by their first names. So it does not happen in India, though. So you will see that happen. They will introduce themselves as what they would like to be called. So you will have to, honor that. The classrooms are mostly informal and open discussions. That is the norm that you will see in the United States. Usually no raising hands, that it's mostly the conversation style that is followed. You again, if you want to reach out to the professors, we'll be talking about that in communication with professors. But if you see classes with smaller size, you might see that classes with the smaller size might engage in icebreaker activities. These are mostly an activity that will help you break the ice, help you have smaller introductions where students can actually have a smooth transition from a new student into a regular student mode. And there will be a lot of shared project work, so you will be required to work in groups. There will be a lot of shared work or working groups that are created for a project or an assignment. So usually professors will give you a lot of group work or teamwork that you need to perform. You will be required to I mean, I'm not saying that individual projects are not required, but definitely along with individual projects, there is a shared project work that will also be as part of your curriculum. One key thing that you must keep in mind is time management. In the beginning, it can be a little overwhelming, but at the same time, it's important that you maintain that life-school balance because you are going to a different country altogether. Take it slow. It is important that you take it slow. You manage it. There is going to be some sort of cultural shock, so you need to ensure that you maintain your life as well as your school, and don't keep lax at just because it is the first semester. Ensure that your grades are equally important. So you need to maintain your scores at the school as well as manage your life at the personal front as well. Now, talking about communication with professors, like I said, the professors are quite chill over there, and they usually encourage, they are quite approachable. You will see that professors, you can reach out to your professor if you need to talk to them specifically about some particular work. It is very common for students to schedule an appointment with your professor as throughout your semester, and as whenever you require, you can schedule your appointment. You can reach out to them, discuss if there are any concerns, discuss if you want to talk about any particular course, if you have any questions about the coursework, about the program. So do reach out to your professors well in advance. And very important thing, if you cannot make it to the class, they take it very seriously. If you're not able to make it to the class, it is important then you inform your professor well in advance. You let them know. Okay, if you need to meet with your professor or your advisor, set an appointment, be on time. Okay, come ready with your questions. You can't go unprepared. You have to ensure that you are prepped with your questions. And if you have any ideas to discuss, always be on time. Time is very, very important. Honestly, I don't think I need to reiterate this, because you have already submitted your applications well on time, and you are already there, or you're almost there with your new adventure in life. So it is going to be a little different as to what you see here in India. It is important that you if the professor gives you any reading list, or if there is any pre-work that the professor gives you, it's important that you work on that before the class begins, before your class begins. It is important that you contribute to the class, be interactive as much as possible. It will be part of your academic assessment. The professors do keep a note of that, how interactive you are being and in the class. Now, it is also important that you self-evaluate your performance. Okay, do not wait do not wait to get help for your problems. It's important that you reach out to your professor, talk to them well in advance. The other thing, very, very important thing that I wanted to talk about is the honor code. Now, all American colleges and universities in the US have established honor codes for, or maybe, you can say a statement of rules that students need to follow. So when I talk about honor code, there are some issues that are addressed in honor code, which are, say, cheating, which are, say, plagiarism, fabrication, multiple submissions, misrepresentation, unfair advantages. Students are expected to be responsible for their academic planning and their academic work. So you must ensure that and it is very easy for the universities to figure out that whether the assignment has been copied or has been cheated on. So you need to ensure that the work that you do is yours, is original, and is not copied. If you are seeking a source, or if you are quoting something from a particular source, you need to mention that source as well. Okay, you are expected to maintain that academic honesty and originality for the work according to the US educational standards that are defined by the institutions. Okay, plagiarism is condemned. You are not supposed to copy. Okay, ensure that your work is original and cite all the resources that are listed in your assignment or in your work. Okay. Moving on, how you can select classes. Okay, if there is an online registration system by now, I think most of you would know how selecting courses works, how you need to register for the courses. There is an online registration system that is required. Every university has a student portal, which you must have been given access to by now, that you will use to sign up for classes. Okay. You can do your course planning with the help of your academic advisor assigned to you. For undergraduate students, normally students reach out to their academic advisor, even for graduate students. But because for undergraduate students, there are quite a few courses that are available. You might want to seek help from your academic advisor. Okay. In every student portal, that is, you will see the courses that are available for that particular semester, and you will be required to hold that particular course for the class registration, which will help you block your seat for that particular class schedule. Okay. And now once you register, you can also view your classroom syllabus. Normally the professors do share the syllabus with the students, and also once you sign up for the course, you will receive a classroom syllabus, so everything will be listed. There are university honors programs that students can look for. There are quite a few honors programs that you will see for undergraduate students. So reach out to your academic advisor and they will help you register for the courses that are available in that particular semester. Okay. Moving on, so these are some academic services that students must make use of. You should take advantage of these academic services. To begin with, orientations. Rupali very rightly said that you must attend the student orientation. There is a massive international student orientation that you should attend. Apart from these international student orientation, which is a longer orientation that you will see, maybe 2 days, 3 days, or 5 days long orientation that you see that you're required to attend. Along with that, there are departmental orientations that you must attend, because there you will be aware of the university will walk you through about the academic services that are available in that particular department. What are the facilities, what are the services that are available for international students in that particular department. So every department, say for example, computer science department or business, college of business, or school of education, every department will have their own set of orientation. You must attend that. That orientation will also give you a whole lot of information about scholarship and the assistantship opportunities. Okay, when I say scholarship opportunities, yeah, we all have, when we apply, we do look for scholarship opportunities and we do apply for those scholarship opportunities. But at the same time, while you're there, if there are any opportunities that are available after you complete your first semester, you will also be you will be told about those scholarships at that time. And for graduate students, assistantship opportunities are one way of availing a tuition waiver. So you will also get to know about these assistantship opportunities. When I say RA, I mean research assistant opportunities, where students usually get to work in laboratories and other settings to assist faculty on research projects. There are duties vary by discipline and program, but generally include data collection, data entry, data analysis, and training for and attending conferences to present results, and attending and training and supervising less experienced research personnel. So for these are some opportunities available at graduate level. Similarly, when you talk about teaching assistantship, this is where you will assist faculty with instructional responsibilities or serve as the principal instructor of one or more courses that are taught to maybe bachelor programs students in the university. Duties may also include meeting with students, administering tests or exams, grading homework or exams, teaching recitations, laboratory or discussion sessions, and teaching lecture courses. So as a TA, these are normally offered to students who are pursuing their doctoral programs. So you can definitely look for those opportunities. And these are talked much in detail during these orientations and once you are in the department, once you are on the campus. There are graduate assistantship opportunities also that are available, where you will be required to support work in a particular department or under a faculty member, where yeah, you will be working for a particular for the university department, and you will also and you will also be required to gather, organize, and analyze information based on the project, or you might be required to help the professor with their ongoing research opportunities. Okay, and there are certain research opportunities that are available. Now, research opportunities may not be available in the first year directly, but as you progress in your curriculum, as you are halfway through, or while after you've completed first year of your curriculum, you will also be you can also explore research opportunities that are available, which works as a great learning experience. You don't even though you don't want to go into a research area, you can still opt for it, because it is definitely going to help you in your following degrees that you want to pursue. Now, here are a few things that you must know as Indian students. It is important that you spend some time in understanding the academic system and curriculum, because it is quite different to what we see here in India. There are different courses that have different deliverables. So one subject that you study, one course that you study, subject is equivalent to a course there. So one course that you study might have some projects, maybe a weekly project, a semester end project, or maybe a half yearly project, or some courses might just have quizzes and exams, and there are some homework. So every course will have a different deliverable. There will be it totally depends on the professor, how they're going to teach the course. Gather information about expected course load and try to have a balanced semester load. It is important because you will be doing everything on your own there. So you will have to ensure that you maintain that study life balance that I talked about in the beginning. Course deliverables are much more frequent, almost evenly weighted. So if you talk about, say, a weekly project, or if you talk about, say, 2-week project or fortnightly project, or maybe a semester end project, there is proper weight given to every deliverable that is counted in your curriculum. So do ensure that you work accordingly on that. And you might find that you will be in 3 different teams for these projects. There may be an individual project. So you will have to plan your work accordingly. At the same time, there are multiple resources that are available. One of the much talked resources is library. The library is like the best place to have your group study or do your research. There are a lot of resources available in the library. Okay, so do explore that. There are opportunities like clubs and associations that are available on campus that will help you not just groom you as a person, but will also help you academically put your knowledge to work in these groups and organizations. So do explore them and utilize them to the core. Okay, that will help you build a great profile after you graduate. That will help you make you organization ready once after you graduate. So do explore these opportunities. Now with that, I am done, and I will hand the slide over to Rupali, who will talk about new socio-cultural environment. Here you go, Rupali.
Thank you. That was a great presentation, Megha. Excellent points, and I'm sure the students have made note of it. Okay, so all the students who are attending the session probably you understand that when you go as a tourist to a foreign land for a short period, that can be fun. But then when you start living there and studying there for a longer period, that is completely a different experience. And that is when you deal with some physical, mental and social challenges. And this is very common. I mean, it's not, they have been ages students have been going. There were days when they were not even able to connect with the parents back home, where there used to be STDs and all. Things are now so simpler. The technology has played a very, very important role in our lives, and specifically for the last 2 years with this COVID pandemic, you see how easily we can connect. And it's like a home from when you are sitting in your room there. But having said that, the students, they may face physical, mental and social challenges, but not a must. Every student is now different. Your how do you deal with this situation is very, very different. So but in case you deal it with, this is what we are now going to discuss in the next 15 to 20 minutes, how to adjust to that. What are the cultural adjustments? So the first and the most important cultural adjustment is definitely the jet lag. I mean, if you have been traveling across, you know what jet lag actually is. And but there is no way, nobody can help you with the jet lag. It's your body is basically adjusting to a new rhythm. And there are times when you will you will have sleepless nights. There will be so many thoughts coming into your mind. There will be thoughts coming into mind, even a thought like whether I've made the right decision to come to this university or not, whether I've made the right decision to come to the US also or not. I mean, you will you will just wake up and start thinking about that. That will be very, very normal. But yes, slowly you will be adapting to the cultural adjustments. For the jet lag, there are a number of things that you can do to help yourself through this transition. Normally, students, I mean, just avoid taking power naps, follow normal eating and sleeping pattern, and depending on the time zone, because if you're going to East zone, there will be a different time zone. If the West Coast will have a different time zone. So based on the time zone, you have to make sure that you follow the normal eating and sleeping patterns. The daylight thing is there when even till 8:30 or 9 o'clock, you will the sun will be there, and it will be a different, like all together a very different experience for you. It happened with me when I went to the US for the first time. And I was like, my God, it's like 9 o'clock and we are having our dinner and the sun is still there. So, but slowly, I was as a tourist, but then you are there, you will experience this every year. So always to overcome this jet lag, avoid power naps, do a lot of walking, exercising. That will help your body to adjust to the clock. And I think walking in the sunlight is very, very important. That also helps you adjust to the clock of any place where for adaptation, it is very, very important. The other cultural adjustment which most of the students they do face is the language. Language, yes, it may be a little difficult for you. Americans, they have a different accent. You have to adjust to that. You have to slowly, you will understand, but don't copy their accent. Be your own, have your own way of talking. Talk slowly so that they can also understand what you are trying to tell them. They are normally humor, sarcasm, these they are Americans like using all this in their while talking or while writing. So you have to slowly adapt to this adjustment also. But everyone, it's like gradually everyone adapts to it. So don't be worried, and don't initially, if you are not able to understand, don't hesitate to ask again. I mean, whether it's in your classroom, whether it's you are asking the professor or anyone else, because there will be students from different parts of the globe. Everyone will have a different culture, everyone will have a different style of talking, writing. So just ask them to repeat the question. Just tell them that I'm not able to understand. Could you please repeat it again? There's no harm in it. Don't be shy of all these things. Okay, the next thing basically, which we are just going to discuss a little in details, is about the cultural shocks, and not only the cultural shocks, even the reverse cultural shock when you come back to India. Students would like, I'm sure they are a bit, not only the students, but their parents are also a little bit concerned about the campus safety. So what measures can be taken regarding the campus safety, and what all is there on the for the campus safety? We will discuss that. You all need to stay fit, healthy. Need to know what exactly the health insurance services are, and a quick slide on medical emergencies. So Megha, can you please, okay, you have already changed it. Okay, so
This slide, Rupali.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So cultural shocks. I mean, I just mentioned that the psychological process of having to adjust to any environment, a new environment, new surrounding, that is what is a cultural shock. What are the different symptoms? As I mentioned to you, even the jet lag has its symptoms, but that is altogether a different, because you are in the process of adapting. Though sometimes you may feel very isolated, because you may have a new roommate. Your classroom may not have any other Indian student, but there may be students from different countries. And that is the beauty of the US education system, the diversity, that is where you enjoy and you learn new things. But at the same time, you can feel isolated. A kind of nervousness can come. You may not be confident to speak in front of new people. You may feel frustrated. Homesickness will be there, whether how much technology has actually helped us, yet the feel of my room, of my home, the surroundings, parents, siblings, my pet, all that will come, even if you see them in, I mean, if you do your video chats with them, yet that feel will be missing. So homesickness will be there. Sometimes, not everyone, I mean, these are some of the symptoms, but not that everyone will have all these symptoms. Sometimes you may feel hostile. That feeling can also be there. You may think that I'm totally getting dependent on the Indian students around. If you find any Indian students, you like to be with them only. That's fine, but then you got an opportunity to learn from new students from different countries. Try to be them, and these things, these symptoms will slowly go. Initially you will face them, but then slowly you will adapt to that culture. As I mentioned, when you have sleepless nights, you will sometimes get up and you will start doubting the decision of coming to the US. So those things can all be possible for a time, but if you think that's lingering on and it's not, the one second. You think that's lingering on, and it's disturbing your schedule and it's taking long, then it is always advisable to go to a counseling center in the campus. Check with the international admissions office. the law, as I mentioned, a lot of services are there for the international students, and there is no harm in taking a counseling from, but that will really help you adapt. Okay. I don't know, one second, there's a one sec. I'm so sorry. There was a call coming and that was actually disturbing me. So I just transferred it to my colleague. Sorry. So coming back, as I mentioned, that don't be shy, students. Please visit counseling centers if you think all these symptoms are there and they are disturbing you. You're not able to focus on your studies, and it's taking time for you to adjust to the and adapt to that particular culture. Transition is important. I mean, that's the reason we are doing these sessions. We want all of you to have a very, very smooth transition. um, Things have changed. I know you people have been online for the last 2.5 years. There's so many YouTube videos that you have been seeing on adjustments and all, but those are all fine. But the personal experience which you will gain, that will be the most important. So with this, we'll move to the next slide, and I will still continue on the cultural shock thing only. And so on the road to cultural adaptation, for the cultural shock which the students get, normally there are 3 stages. Basically, the first stage is your honeymoon stage. I mean, this is what it is mentioned. I mean, if you read articles on cultural shocks, you will also find that the first stage is honeymoon stage, where for the first few weeks, you are very excited to spend time and enjoy. You always think that this will be a wonderful boom time for me. But then there is a phase that comes where you really get a cultural shock, where you see the emotional and psychological experience that upsets you, where you have all the symptoms which I discussed in the previous slides. That will be a stage. So the graph will be, it will go right up, it will come down for the cultural shock stage, and then slowly is where you will adapt to the new culture. But keep in mind, my advice to all of you who are attending this session is, reaching this stage takes time. Even adjusting with a new partner takes time, whether it's a marriage or adjusting in a new house or a new apartment in a dorm. To understand the person, you feel excited. I know right now also you people are all excited because you want to get away from home at times. You want to start a new life. That kind of a feeling will come. You It's not to it's not offend the parents, but you want to be on your own, you want to be on right, independent. That is where, what is the honeymoon stage which is going on. But then the cultural shock stage will also come, and then you will start adapting. There will be time when you come back after an extended period, back to your own country, and you will see a reverse cultural shock here. So be prepared with that also. We are preparing you for the cultural shock there, but then be prepared for the cultural shock back when you come to your own country. We'll move to the next slide, please. Okay, so right in the beginning, I mentioned that parents, students, all are worried. They want they definitely want to understand the campus safety. What is what all is the university doing for the students to make sure that you are safe on the campus. All around you will have certified campus police. You will see alarm systems right at every corner. There will be these alarm systems. You need not worry if you are getting late in the library or you are coming after your class. Check with the college if they have late night bus services or late night escorts. There are a lot of there are applications to alert the public security also. Make sure you get information about all that, and this all will be discussed when you attend the orientation sessions there. To enter any residence, you have to swipe cards and other building on campuses. Most of the housing complex, they will have 24 hours front desk manager. So the campuses there are all safe for the international students. Yet it is very, very important that once you reach your university, you should give emergency numbers back to your parents in case they want, you are not available. Which numbers can they call? If you made some good friends on your campus, if you and they are comfortable, I mean, slowly these things will happen, but there's no harm in sharing their contact details back with your parents. We'll move to the next slide. This is where we will discuss about having all cultural shocks, adapting to the new environment, yet at the same time you have to keep yourself fit and healthy and make sure that you beat the stress. It should not harm you. Just remember that if the stress, if you are living in stress and if you are not working out, you don't stay fit and healthy, this will have a direct impact on academics. Freshman 15 is one term which I also read, and I also happened to ask a few students when we used to have in-person PTOs, and this is what they said, that it is a saying that the freshman year, when you are just joining the college, you tend to put on a lot of kgs. So that is where they give you a name of freshman 15, because that you may not, the times slots may not be scheduled initially. You may be eating a lot of junk food, not getting into the eating different food as so probably these things can add in putting on some weight. So that's the reason they say it's a freshman 15. They've just given a term like that, so avoid that. Not that you also have to come under that category, you can always avoid it. Eat healthy, do regular exercise, set your priorities, and as I just mentioned, stress and cultural adjustment, they are directly proportional. So keep sure that you are away from your mood swings. Don't let frustration harm you. Don't be disappointed. Try to calm yourself. I mean, if you have been meditating, do continue with your meditation or any form of exercise. You want to do yoga, you want to go and hit the gym, the campus, just check the nearest gym, which is at a walking distance right in your campus. All these things will really help you slowly in adjusting and beating the stress. We'll move to the next slide, please. Okay, so make a note, there can be medical emergencies anytime. Health insurance, I would advise you to check with your university whether you should be taking your health insurance back from India, or your university is providing you the health insurance. This is very, very important. Dial 911 on any phone 24 hours a day. for any medical emergency that you have, and make sure that you carry your health insurance card always with you. Um, uh, Medical emergencies can happen anywhere at any time. So try to see right. I mean, they definitely mention all this in during the orientation, but do make sure that when you reach your campus, what are all the formalities, because medical, seeing a doctor in the US is really very, very expensive. Taking an appointment, you have to shed a lot of dollars. So to avoid that, we have to take health insurance. But before even you start, check with the university on the health insurance plan. Yeah, so that is where I I end my the social cultural environment part. Over to you, Megha, for our services and how can the students stay connected. Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you, Rupali. That was quite an informative presentation on socio-cultural environment. Like you all know, that Education USA is your official source on US higher education. This is how you can also stay connected with us. You can join us for current students and alumni-led sessions through alumni fair, panel discussions, and we keep doing a lot of events during the International Education Week. This is your chance to get involved with us, and you can also share your My EduSA story or your success story that can be highlighted on our social media handles. And you can also write articles on your US higher education journey or your experience about studying in the US, and that can be featured on our social media as well as on our USIF website. So please let us know if you would like to be you would like to connect with us. And you can also join us for Instagram takeovers. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And yes, we can certainly be, I can share the link in sharing the My EduSA story for you all, and then you can probably share your experience, share your you can get featured in our website, and you can be part of the US University alumni fair and university-led discussions. Thank you so much. And with that, I will hand the mic over to Bidisha.
Thank
Shaka,
you,
sorry.
Megha. Thank you, Rupali. It was really informative and a wonderful session. Very, very, a lot of things even I came to learn, come to know today. A lot of things to take away from the session. So now we'll open the forum for taking up questions. So students who have questions, they may raise their hands, and we'll unmute you to ask your question. So in the meantime, we'll take up some questions already there with us. The first question is from Pura. What documents are required to open a US bank account?
Hi, everyone. I'm just joining in. Megha, Rupali's just had to step out for a minute. So you and I will be taking questions. Do you want to answer that question? And I can add if there's anything else that needs to be added.
Sure. Ideally, the universities will have the details listed down. So initially, you are required to have a social security number and your passport, but as you step into the States, you will not have social security number at hand at the time. So the Office of International Admissions is definitely going to help you with the required documentation. But as long as you have your admit and your passport on you, I think you should be fine. Once you get your student ID card, I think you will be able to have your bank account details in place. Asa, do you want to add something to it?
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it is going to be pretty much like this. Students, see, do remember a lot of universities will have orientations for such things, but some of them might not. I mean, they might not have a separate sort of a section on banking. Of course, most will. So it's important that you attend it. Now, also, a lot of students do wonder about which bank to open the account with. The usual advice that comes from universities and from students who are on campuses, that choose the bank that of course gives you sort of, the benefits that you require, but also a bank which has plenty ATMs and sort of maybe a branch close to your campus, because you are going to be requiring, if it's a campus based sort of a university, not a city campus, you're enclosed in a campus, then it is very, very important that you have your bank ATM on campus. I mean, imagine if you had to run out of campus every time to get, if you had to, withdraw some money. So make sure you're banking with that bank which has access on campus, and also of course gives you benefits. So you can do a little bit of bank shopping, compare sort of notes, and then open your account. Many universities also organize visits to the banks, right? So I've had actually students tell us that, hey, we went in groups to a particular bank and our international student office helped us open those bank accounts. So you will also be required to show some student ID. You might not have your student ID ready as such, but there will be a student a number that you will have, like the ID number. So those kind of details will come handy in opening your bank account. And of course, identification like your passport, etc. You have to, so all of those documentation you take to open your bank. Right. Shall we go to the next question?
Yes, thank you, Asa. Thanks, Megha, for addressing this. Devanshu is asking, should we carry original Aadhar or PAN card to USA?
Right. So this is a tricky one. I mean, see, in India, I don't even carry my PAN card here in India on me. Okay. It's a document that you should keep safe. You can keep copies of your Aadhar card and your PAN card on a Google Drive. Take physical copies. Maybe you need to keep a few extra. Keep one of your Aadhar card copies in your wallet. Like you can cut it out and put it there with your PAN card copy as well. But I don't think you need to carry the original. Your passport is your main identification. So if anybody ever asks you for identification, you do have that. And eventually your student ID will become your identification in the US, which you will predominantly use. Students do not always carry their passports with them, because that can also be unsafe. I mean, what if you lose it? What if you leave it on the bus or on the train? And that's a disaster, right? So not that you'll not get it again, you'll make a new one, but there'll be a lot of things that you have to do, right, to get that done. So you do not need to take your Aadhar card. You do not need to take your originals of these cards. Please take copies, soft copies, scan them, or even take them as hard copies with you. And students, remember, always have one copy at home with your family, one copy in your checked-in luggage, one copy of all your documentation in your hand luggage. I mean, because you will be requiring these at immigration and port of entry. You're not going to be getting your luggage by the time you get to immigration. So if you've kept your luggage, your documents in your luggage, then that's a bad experience there. So take 2-3 copies and keep them. Like I had taken about 4 or 5. I left maybe 2 with my mom, dad, 1 in my luggage each, and 1 I used to keep at university in my dorm, in my room at all times. So do that. And 1, of course, do Google Drive, or Dropbox or something of that sort. Megha, you want to add to that?
No, I think you've covered it all. I think one thing that I did when I went there, I got my driver's license done. So I went to the ED office and then I got my driver's license done. So since then, once I had that ID, I didn't really feel the need to carry my passport or any other mode of identification, that any other ID that I needed. So I think just that works. And and then you can keep all of that safe.
Yeah, and the other thing is, guys, like you will be getting you have your I-20, right? That I-20 is a very, very important piece of document. So make copies of that as well, and keep that at several places also. Okay, so just because I remember the I-20, but yeah, once you have a student ID, or like Megha mentioned, DL, which is a national ID for the US, in many ways, you will not really require to carry your passport and your other documentation. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Devanshu. Next question.
Thank you, Asta. We'll take up the next question. So what documents should we show at the port of entry?
All right. So this is something that I think most students are a little worried about. Okay, and see, just like a visa interview, I mean, see, the US visa is not a documents driven process, right? If you have gone through the interview, you would know that they ask you questions and you're supposed to talk about that. You're supposed to articulate your plan, your funding, etc. to the visa officer. Much like that, this is exactly what will happen at the port of entry or the immigration officer at that point as well. So when you get there, yes, keep your documents with you, keep them ready, and keep them with you on that table of that window. They will mostly ask you questions, and they might not actually ask for any documentation. Very few students actually have to present documentation as such, but they will ask you, so, hey, why are you here in the US? Oh, I'm here to study. So which university? What's the address of your university? Where are you going to be staying on campus or off campus? Whatever it is. So you must have that information ready at hand. Now, a lot of students might fumble, might get nervous, and they might say that, hey, sir, ma'am, I have my address with me. But you can just tell them that you say that you have it with you, but it's important for you to say it as well. They want to know that the student has come prepared, they know where they're headed, and that it's a well-informed student. So yes, the documentation is going to be all your mandatory documents. So your passport, right? Your I-20. Students will even carry their the visa fee and their SEVIS fee receipts as well, because you've done that process. Your offer letter is going to be very, very important. If you have housing from the university or any other housing off campus as well, then proof of housing as well. Right now, say you might be staying at your aunt or your uncle's for a week before you go to the university, then you must tell them that my aunt, uncle lives here at this address, I'll be staying with them, and then a week later I'm headed to the university and I'll be staying at so and so place, right? So they want to know that you're here for a reason, and what is that reason, and do you have evidence to support that reason, basically. Right. So people will also keep documentation like their bank statements and their financials. Okay. Students feel a little reassured and they have that. Some of you will also put your GRE and your TOEFL scores in there, or your SAT or ACT scores and IELTS scores, etc. So all that you can keep, no doubt about that. But the mandatory documents really are your passport and your I-20 and your offer letter and so on and so forth. Okay. So it's that. Now, the immigration officers can be quite stern looking, but remember, they're humans, and you have a valid visa, and they obviously, they want genuine students on campus. They want genuine students in the country. So just make sure you have all your details ready and you know those answers. Megha, anything else that you remember from your time when you were entering the US?
Yeah, just to add to what Asta mentioned, I agree with every bit what Asta mentioned. The only thing that I want to add is the officer that you would see will be in a uniform, so don't get nervous. Stay calm, be confident. The way you handled the visa interview, you will be able to handle it all. So just be calm and gather yourself around and then answer the questions. That should be it. I think you'll be fine.
Thank you. I have a question here. Like a lot of students come to us whether we are required to carry all your original financial documents. Like a lot of students have different ways of funding, bank statement of their fathers or parents. So they generally have this question. So what do you suggest in that?
Right. So, basically, original documentation would be what? Like, for example, a proof of finance is, of course, bank statements. So now the bank statements the students will download from the internet. Some of them will go to the bank and get those on their letterhead. You carry those with you. You can make several copies. And anyway, bank statements are also time specific, right? So if they're older than that usual date, then it doesn't carry any weight. So you have to take your latest bank documents with you. But yeah, you don't necessarily have to carry originals. Now, originals could be the property deed. Now they're looking at liquid assets or assets that you can use immediately, right? For your first year, at least on the visa interview, that's what they're doing. So there, if you're saying that I have bank statements, I have a bank loan letter, of course, you'll carry the bank loan letter, the sanctioned loan letter, right? If you have funding from the university, you will carry that offer letter with you with several copies. So in those, see, take those originals with you, which if somebody takes them away from you, it's not a problem. Do not take originals with you, which if they don't give it to you back, then that's going to be a problem, right? Like giving a degree, your original degree or original mark sheet only to the university that you're going to, right? Nobody else, because you might not get those back. So similarly for bank financial documents as well, you'll make copies of things that you cannot take with you originally. That's how it works. And those work for all students. There is no problem as such with those documents.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Another question from generally asked by student, like, while they're traveling, how much of cash they're required to carry? A lot of students ask this, I'm flying and, what do you recommend? How much should I carry? And those things. So what you're advising?
Megha, do you want to answer this question? I'll just add a few things to it if need be.
Yeah, I mean, don't carry too much cash. Ideally, you are only allowed to carry as much as $10,000. But I would suggest not to carry cash. It's better to, maybe get a Forex card made or now, I mean, when I went, there weren't much options available. So I took very little cash, and most of the funds that I took were in form of traveler's checks. So that was like way back. I'm a little old like that. So, but now there are a lot of options available. It's easier to wire transfer the money, and don't as soon as, or you get traveler's check, or you get a Forex card made, and then you can transfer it all to your bank account as soon as you get one in the US. And then the way we have UPI, Paytm or Google GPay works over here, people have other options available. So I think that is something that we can use. So I would not suggest students to carry as much cash as possible, because there will be a lot of undergraduate students who are traveling. So yeah, it's better not to carry cash.
Yeah.
At
See,
hand.
I think this is one habit that we all develop when we studied abroad. Is now when I came back here, my mom used to always tell me that, oh my God, you never carry cash. Thode paise to rakh liya karo, And we've never carried cash when we were on campus, right? It's just safer that way. Cards work everywhere, so then you don't bother. But on your flight, now things like, why would you need cash, right? You would need cash, for example, if you wanted to buy some food. That is also doable. I mean, you can still use a Forex card with that, okay? But just in case the Forex card doesn't work for some reason, you at least have about $100 to $200. Some students will take about $500 with them, and that's great. But take a slightly smaller notes as well, so that you can use at the airport. Now, some places, if you use a trolley, you have to put certain coins in the trolley, right? For the trolley to disengage, for you to put your luggage on. So keeping like $10 notes or bills will help you to kind of get that change as well. Again, most trolley points also take cards these days. There should not be a problem. But just as a first sort of trip, some things might work. My Forex card has abandoned me in 1 or 2 trips. So just as a caution, keep some money on you, but nothing that takes up to $10,000. That's just like, see, after 10,000, you have to declare it, and that's just extra headache. Don't get into all of that. Your fees, your first semester fee especially would have already gone. So nobody's carrying their fees in their hand, right? So you don't need that sort of cash. So just keep something for you to use while you're stuck. Now, one new thing that I've discovered in the US, which I found very, very shocking, and I was like, oh my God, who does that? But they do that in the US, is sometimes when you're taking a connecting flight, you have to pay for your baggage, your hand baggage, or your checked-in baggage. And that has never happened in India ever, right? So, once you put it on the flight, it's paid for, right? It's with your ticket. But there we had to pay $25 once to check in your luggage. And once again, that was just a connecting flight. So thankfully I had that cash on me, so I was able to give it, right? So those kind of things might arise. So keep about maybe $500, $200 and then keep the rest in your travel card, like Megha's mentioning. But that's about it. Don't carry too much. We've heard stories of people losing their wallets. All of that happens, right? That's life, but be careful. Yeah.
Correct. I agree. There are so many parents worried that, we need to give our children something cash, so then they always have this questions coming to us, how much I should get. Okay, that's
Yes.
perfectly answered. I will take the next question, which is like, they're asking about, so it's, what are the good suggestions? Should we carry the Indian SIM to US if you want to continue to use? And what is the best SIM? Maybe the connection they're talking about here is one can procure in US.
Right. So, I mean, see, what I've done is you'll get free Wi-Fi at the airport. Okay. You can make a WhatsApp call to your family, let them know that you've arrived, you're fine. And you're most likely, you'll probably get an airport transfer by your university. If you talk to the international student office, maybe you can book a cab also online. That is all possible through the Wi-Fi, right? So you don't really need a network as you go, but some students will feel that, okay, my God, what if my Wi-Fi doesn't work? And that can happen sometimes. So like we've used matrix cards from here in India, and we've taken them and used them in the US. You can take other SIM cards as well. There are many companies that offer these facilities. You can keep them for some time till you buy a SIM in the US. So for best SIMs, I think we're not good sort of resources for that, because students will tell you exactly what is the best SIM and what is the best plan and things like that. So there's a lot of very competitive prices that you get. Some of you will get phones with your plans, right? So talk to students who are kind of, getting international students, and also people who are on campus. They will also help you with this information on the best SIM, etc. Again, it's also connectivity, right? Does a particular brand have connectivity around your campus? That's going to be very, very important. So things like that. That's how you'll kind of decide which bank and which SIM or phone company to kind of go with.
You could get in touch with your Indian Student Association. They will be able to guide you better on this. Reach out to them. Anything for airport transfers, or even for these bit of questions. So what's there, what's hip in their area, they will be able to tell you because every place has different set of SIM cards that you use, different connections that you use, different bank accounts that are available there. So these questions are best answered by especially Asta mentioned that currently enrolled students there. But if you want to reach out to the Indian Student Association there, they're very well available on Facebook and other portals.
Thank you. Students who have questions, you can see an icon of raise hand, so you can raise hand to ask it directly, or keep putting questions. We'll take it up one-on-one. So there's a question, though I think it's no, but is the Indian driving license valid in US? So I don't think so, but anyway, you people can start.
I'll answer. Yeah. So I carried, I got an international driver's license card made, but that may not be valid in every state. So you will have to, in any way, once you're there, after you're through with your student orientation, you will need a local ID over there, which is different from your passport. So the driver's license is the first thing that we try and get made apart from your student ID. So you can take up a few lessons. The driver's license is not made just like that, the way it is made in India. So there is a paper test that is required, and you will have to appear for a driver's ed test. So you can then get that made. Then it is easier for you to drive around the campus and the nearby areas.
Thank you, Megha. So another very general questions, a lot of people, parents, very concerned about, what are their children will eat and all. They advise some utensil, which is generally a pressure cooker, to be carried along, So what do you advise? It's like, it's not easily available, or one should carry it because they take all the pain of packing that up, and there's a goes higher on the weightage, and airlines also have the limitations. So what do you advise on that?
Yeah, that's always a question that comes from the moms and the dads, and students are like, really, do I need to bother about this? But so yeah, that's a big one. I mean, dal is such a staple for us, right? I mean, after 5 days of pizza, you want the dal chawal. So, so that is an important question. Right. So it depends on where you're going, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to some place like, say, for example, New Jersey, okay, or you're going to certain cities where there's a lot of, there's a strong Indian population, you can rest assured that you will find these there as well. Okay. Some of it might be a little bit more expensive, but if you're going to be paying for extra baggage on your flight, you might as well buy it from the US. I mean, see, okay, it's just that you will find some of these utensils. But yes, these, like a pressure cooker, a kadhai, might not be available everywhere in the US because it depends. Now, if you're staying in a strong Chinese population area, you will find a wok which can work as a kadhai, but pressure cookers are hard to come by in every city or state, right? So if that's going to be a very, very important thing for you, I think a small one, like a 1 liter or a 2 liter one, you can carry with you. You get those really cute ones these days, smaller ones, which can kind of for you and maybe a friend of yours, it can cook that much food for you. And pressure cookers are versatile, right? You can maro tadka in there, you can use it, you can put chawal and make pulao, or you can do dal and things like that. So it is a versatile tool to have. But again, check with where you're going. Like Megha was mentioning, the Indian Student Association. Now, because Indians are huge, there's a huge population of Indians even at US universities, do check with the Indian Association if there are stores around where you will find these items. And trust me, you will find Parle G also in stores, right?
Yeah.
There's Maggi, Parle G, pata nahi kya kya. I mean, I've seen Vico turmeric cream also. So, you will be surprised. So, yeah, you don't have to carry, maybe you'll carry your MTR packets for the 1 week because your mom doesn't want you to go hungry. But students are very enterprising. They never do go hungry. So you don't have to worry about that. Talk to Indian associations, talk to students on campus, get the information. If it's available, if it's not readily available, you might want to carry some of these with you. Okay. But you don't have to go berserk. You don't have to carry your entire kitchen set. And in fact, at my orientation, we got a lot of free ladles and whatnot also from stores that had stalls at the student union during orientation week. So make sure you speak to the students on campus, the associations, the Indian Association in particular, and they'll tell you what is available or not, and then you can start your packing with that. Also, the TSA website, okay, has a list of items that you can carry and you cannot carry, okay? In terms of spices, in terms of food grains, in terms of pulses, this entire thing is listed there. There's a whole section on this. So please make sure you're checking the US guidelines on what you can bring into their country, and then take it accordingly. Because you don't want trouble at the airport because your mom packed arhar dal for you or something of that sort. Okay, so make sure you're reading those guidelines very well before you. We're making fun of these things, but they can be pretty serious. Okay, and Megha has added the link in the chat box.
Yeah. So if you are, say, for example, so when I went with my couple of friends. So we divided the stuff, and I went in Michigan. So I went to Michigan. So Michigan, you might not find, too many Indian stores like in New Jersey. So, or in San Jose, in California. So one of my friends took kadhai with us, and maybe I took a pressure cooker, a 2 liter or 3 liter big pressure cooker. And because we were going as students, so we got an option to have extra luggage, so that actually saved a lot of space for us, and we were able to manage it all. So yeah.
So a lot of kadai and pressure.
Vishakha, even for books,
Even for books, yeah.
I remember a student had to open her entire suitcase at the airport and had to shift her items. books can be pretty heavy, okay? And
Yeah.
see, your library will have the books that you require for your education in the US. There is no way that they request you to get books from India because they don't have enough, right? So make sure that you're carrying something if it's absolutely necessary. If it's 1 or 2 chapters that you must refer to, probably take copies from here of those chapters. But carrying these big chunky books makes no sense. You can again check with the International Student Office about these things, and some websites out there give like students can buy cheap textbooks in the US as well.
Yeah.
So all of this you'll get to know from your student community. So make sure you're being judicious about what you carry. We all feel like we're moving like continents and going to a new place and pata nahi kya ho jayega, but you'll find everything. So unless it's absolutely not something that you can't do without, like for example your medicines and your prescriptions, there might be a medicine, a particular compound or a salt that suits you, and you might find an equivalent in the US, but because it's suited you or you have that particular medicine, then that's something important to carry. But yeah, be mindful about what you're carrying.
And I suggest that look for books, as in like Asta mentioned, that you will find a lot of resources while you're there on campus. I mean, this is an experience that has happened with me and one of my friends, that we carried a couple of books with us, but those were Indian editions, and they had some part of the curriculum not mentioned in our books, which is then of no use, and it does not make any sense for us to carry that whole book. So it's always better to check with the university there, that because there are a lot of ebooks available, there are journals available that are there, and everything, the library has multiple copies available, so which you can get issued, or there are bookstores nearby that shares used books also. So that's something that you can definitely look for once you're there.
Thanks, Megha, for addressing that. So there is a student, Abhijit, who's like to ask. So, sorry, Bishwajit, sorry. So Bishwajit, you can ask your question, please.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was asking, like, I joined a little late. I'm not sure if this question has been covered or not. I was asking, like, initially while when we land in US, the initial cost is going to be high, right? So how to manage that, the initial cost?
Bishwajit, is this the initial cost for, I mean, generally living, or you're talking particularly about tuition, or is it everything?
Everything included. Like tuition, we can't do anything about it. Obviously, we have to pay, but rest of the things, how to manage, like the travel and all.
Yeah, that's a good one, because and I think self-management is a big skill that we all kind of learn along as we kind of live in a country different from ours, right? See, I think this is, again, you have to be a little careful. I know a lot of students get excited about going to a new country, and you might want to do a day trip, which is coming up, or you might want to go and, completely dress up your room, decorate your room. All of that happens, right? Now, one thing is, do take some things from here which you think I will not find there. Okay. Stationery, a lot of people are told that stationery is expensive in the US or in other countries, so buy stationery from here. Now, again, that is the case, but it is because when you're comparing the Indian currency with the US currency, it looks like it's expensive, but in the American context, it's not that expensive. So make sure you're carrying maybe a few items from here. So if you can reduce some cost by taking some things which are within your luggage limit, it would be good to do it from India. If you don't want to, go and spend in first semester, the budget that you've kept for that first semester. And as you go there, the first, I think, month or so, you should kind of think a little bit about exploring options as well. Now, remember, you will have a student ID. You will be eligible for a lot of student discounts. So I was very hesitant in the beginning to ask for discounts at every place. But I think by the time I was in my second semester, I was pretty shameless to go and ask everywhere that, hey, do you have a student discount? And most places would have, yes, yeah, please, we have a discount and you can use it. So make sure you're kind of looking around for things like this as well. In terms of your tuition, of course, that is going right now. In terms of expenses, you will have groceries to do. You will have certain accounts to open for that. You might have certain registration fee, etc. Make sure you're spending on the important things, and the other stuff like, oh, I have to buy, I want to buy versus I need to buy. I think that's going to be very, very important in the first month. What is it that you actually need and what is it that you actually want? So the wants can actually kind of wait till Christmas even, because during Christmas, you'll find some really good deals as well. So make sure you're putting aside money for the essentials. And then, yes, you have some money to kind of enjoy, eat out sometimes, all that will happen. But at any given time, make sure you have enough money in your account to, if there's a medical emergency, if you have health insurance, of course, that's fine. But even then, you should have some money to actually get back to your dorm in a taxi and things like that. There was a time, and I was in England, okay? So I had only £2 in my account, which is 160 rupees back in the day. So I remember, and my dad is like, beta, he had just sent me money in that month. So which was supposed to last me 3 months. But I don't know what I did. I gave money to my friends and something here and there. And I had £2 left. And he asked me, he's like, are you fine? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Obviously, I didn't tell him that, and my friends returned the money to me eventually. But you will go off track sometimes, okay? You don't have to do all the day trips, all the holidays in the very first semester. You will have time to do all of that. So again, spend on the essentials, and that's what you should keep, your budget. Then if you have a surplus, after that, go ahead and do what you want to buy, and get things that you don't really require, and it's just a want. But that's how I think I would manage. In the first few months, students should really kind of observe and see what's out there rather than jumping right into, shopping and doing other things, etc. Megha, any tips from you?
Yeah, actually, very good question. And I think when, kids go in their first semester, they end up spending a lot because they see a lot of things, a lot of fancy things. One, there are a lot of orientations, a lot of fests that happen around that time when you go. So there will be a lot of free stuff, especially free stationery that you will get. So you can grab that, okay? And it's important that you manage your budget, you do that expense tracking and do that financial planning for yourself. You can probably use Google Sheets or maybe use various apps to manage your expenses. Right now, there are a lot of apps that are available in India as well as in the United States that you can use to manage your expenses. Be very specific in terms of what exactly you need to spend the money for. Like Asta mentioned, you can't avoid the essentials. So that is something that you will have to spend your money on. Track your progress. And if you end up, saving some money, then I believe then I think save that money for rainy days, along with enjoying, your going for your various trips and, your month-end leisure that you want to do. And at the same time, if you still feel that you are stuck, you don't know how to manage it, a lot of universities also have individual financial coaching sessions where you can, attend, you can meet with a money mentor, where universities have these facilities available for US, for international students that you can explore. There are individual financial coaching sessions that you can schedule, and then you can meet with them, and that will help you manage your budget at the very beginning. And then obviously once you get into a habit, then I think you will get into a habit of saving this money. And when you earn, you know that you have to pay for your rent, you have to have money in your bank account. So then it will come in as a responsibility to you. Yeah. Asai, go ahead, please.
Yeah. See, once you have a bank account, especially to even get a credit card in the US, you have to kind of maintain some like, level of money in your bank account. Your credit score eventually will determine many things in the US, because that's an economy that runs a lot on this concept. Okay, so make sure you're not going, completely haywire. It's a little bit of fun and games is always allowed. Also remember something that Megha talked about, like the money mentor, for example. Please note that now you're a student of that particular university, right? So very sort of without hesitation, write into them, talk to the people who you need to, ask questions. Of course, be polite, say thank you for every time that you're asking them a question, and do a little bit of research on your own before you go back to them, and make sure you get the answers that you require. Okay. The other thing is that until you ask for something, you will not find it. At US universities, nobody's going to come knocking at your door and saying, hey, beta, there's a money mentor that we have, and please come. So no, that's not going to happen. Okay, check your emails. If you're not in the habit of checking emails, you're losing out. Check, there are student portals that happen. Like I know at MIT, for example, if there's free food, say the chemistry lab had a little get together and there's a lot of free food, they send out a message on their Facebook groups and people actually go and pick up the food. So there are things like that. I mean, as a student, I think one kind of loses these inhibitions about, oh my God, what will people say? But it's okay. That's the joy of being a student. You can be a little shameless. So make sure you're kind of asking questions. If you don't know where to get this information, somebody on campus will be a resource for you. Okay.
Thank you. I think that's very important thing you said, ask question, because we are not used to it. It's somewhere your parents and we have been always being pampered, and we get without even asking. So that's very good advice. I have a question here. These days, there's an immigration which is happening at UAE, there's a port of entry check. So after that, I think so they're free to travel to USA, or there's another immigration they have to go through. So
that, yeah. All right. So some students do avail this opportunity that you do have a port of entry in the Middle East, and then you don't have to do another immigration at the US, at your port of entry in the US. Now, there are slightly certain, what you call processes involved with that. So make sure you're reading your documentation about this very carefully and follow the instructions. If you want to know more about this, you can contact us and we can get you the information. But yeah, some students do go through that route, but many others just go normally. I mean, a majority of students do go normally to the US and then have their immigration there. Also, please remember that there are still going to be American officers in the Middle East. So it's not like you're getting it an easy ride because you're going through that. Americans nahi baithe honge, something it'll be easier for me. It's not like that.
Thank you, Astha. So again, we also get questions related to health insurance. Okay, so is it advisable to get health insurance from India, or a student should buy it from US itself?
Yeah, now that's a question that we also get every time. Now, see, student, the university recommends or suggests certain health insurance packages that they have, with certain companies, with certain providers. Those tend to be a little bit more expensive than the ones that you will find outside on your own as an external insurance provider. So many students wonder whether we need to pay that extra, and take the university student insurance when we can do our own. If the university insists that you have to take the student health insurance, which is by the university, then of course you have no choice. But if you do have a choice and they're leaving it to you, I would tell you to do a comparison. Many a times, this is what students tell us that, ma'am, the university health insurance gave me more sort of flexibility. It gave me more benefits, and therefore it was easier. And because it's student health insurance, as with the university, the processing of documentation is also sometimes smoother. So therefore, students eventually end up wanting to take the student health insurance by the university because it is more convenient. Okay. If you find that what the external health provider, that health insurance provider is giving to you is sufficient, and you do not really require so read the fine print, then you may go for an external provider. But most students, I think, end up taking the student health insurance provided by the university. And the feedback that we get is that it's just easier that way. Megha, any insights on that?
Less hassles. That's the only thing that I would say. It's better to go with school student insurance other than, because you don't have to worry about anything. It is done by the health center there. Everything is taken care of. So yeah, no additional work. You already have a lot of work on your head during that time. You have your classes, there are other clubs, a lot of things going on, your projects. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. No, I don't.
Okay, I see there is one question. Should I buy laptop in India or buy in USA? Also, will university provide us temporary laptops? I don't think the universities provide you with temporary laptops, but there are computer labs that are there, which are well equipped with great computer systems in the library as well as in respective computer labs for students. But you will find a lot of discounts in the US for your laptops. It's your call if you want to spend this much money here. There is a lot of, if you are a fan of Mac, there is a great student discount on Mac once you're there. Once you get your ID. But yeah, Asta, do you want to add something to it?
Yeah. I think in terms of, compatibility, even discounts, etc., there's a lot of good deals that universities and that students will have once they get to the US. Do check in with your student union or your international student office also. They might be able to direct you to the right deals as well. See, there's also student shops which are by the university right on campus. Sometimes they do tend to be a little bit more expensive than maybe say a Best Buy in the city, but they also might be able to offer you a good discount. So check. I know a lot of students will go in the very first week of their orientation, or they'll go 2-3 days before their orientation and buy a laptop there rather than getting it done here. Again, at this point, student groups are going to be very, very useful. So check with your university if there are any student groups for international students, for Indian students. Of course, Shiksha might be able to help you because they have a database and they have students going to the US. You guys probably have a community right here itself. But these are all obviously outgoing students. But if you want to connect with current students on campus, etc., do utilize your university contacts, ask them, and they might be able to connect you with students as well. And they'll give
you rightly said, Rupali also touched base this point, network. So the more you do, the better you know things.
Yeah.
We'll take the last question of the day. From Kevin, any idea if a transit visa is required if he is traveling through London and he has got his first transit flight in 2 hours? So is it sufficient time for the clearance of the transit? That's what his question is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So whether you require a visa, like a transit visa for another country, you should check the country's website, their travel, official website. Also check with the airline that you're using. They will tell you the exact, the details. Transit, if you have 2 hours from, say, you're saying in London, is it? And then you have to take your next flight. I'll tell you something. Now, I mean, I don't want to scare you, but I want you to just be mindful of the fact that you have to kind of not dilly-dally at duty free, etc. Get to your gate, sit over there, and then perhaps have a cold coffee or something. Okay. But I know students will be like doing things and suddenly they're like, oh my God, it's time for my flight. So make sure you're headed. If you don't know where to go for transfers, please check with the officers at the airport. They will tell you. In fact, many of them are yelling over there that any transfers, please come this way. So check and get to your boarding gate for the US. Don't spend enough. I mean, 2 hours is, I think, decent, but it can become a little rushed as well. So make sure you're doing what is essential at the airport. Okay. And see, I'll tell you why. Now, I've had my lesson learned. I will never ever have, I always feel like I need to have more hours for transfers because I got stuck at immigration once and I didn't check my ticket. Somebody else booked them for me and there was only a 1 hour to get to the connecting flight. So make sure, because there could be, your flight could easily be delayed. That's just one thing and you can't control that. So if it's 2 hours, it's not bad. It's not a problem, but make sure you're getting to your next boarding gate for your next flight on time. That's it.
Yeah, actually, yes, this happened when I mean, technically, I did not spend much time in duty free, but the gates were too far. I went, there was a halt in Frankfurt for 2 hours, but then it took me it was way too far. The gates were like way too far, and then there had to be some immigration done and everything. So a lot of things were happened, because of which I was just in time to board the flight. So ensure don't get into the transit visa hassle and just stick to the plan. Yeah,
Yeah, and Frankfurt, guys, it's a massive airport.
it's a massive
One of
airport.
my
Yeah,
favorite airports, but I can spend hours there, but it is long. And they will tell you that there are boards telling you that from this gate to your gate, say there's only 10 minutes. But let me tell you, that's not 10 minutes, it's at least 30 minutes.
yeah.
So make sure you have good, comfortable shoes when you're traveling. And yeah, just make sure you're not all over the place with your luggage and your hand luggage as well. You want to be able to move fast. And some airports, of course, you'll be taking trains within the airport as well. So that's how huge they are.
Okay. So yeah, that's very correct, Asta. We have to buy out more time, because I was also at times once stuck while traveling this. I was on dot, and there's so much of panic when you do that. You don't know.
Yeah.
And at times it's expected that crowd at times so high, we cannot control that anyways.
Yeah.
So thank you, Astha, Rupali, Megha. It was a brilliant session, very interactive, very informative, a lot of participants. Thank you taking out time to be part of this session. Yeah, that's all. And to the students, if you have any further queries, please connect with your counselor or raise a request on our website, call back, email, we'll address it. Thank you, everybody, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shaka.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All the best, everyone. Bye-bye.